What do you see happening? I mean, the primary is probably going to be decided in about 2 months, if it even takes that long. We already know what's going on. I mean, in this state, we saw what the party is willing to do. We happen to personally know the people that decided to shut down the primary in the state of Florida.
We know them.
One of them is a well-paid operative, if you will. This is a job. This is a career, and the country is going to hell because of these, paid
consultants.
Whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. We canceled the primary here. Did you hear that, Keaton?
Yeah, well, not just there, but they just took Marianne off the ballot in Massachusetts. I think North Carolina. Was it Virginia, too? I think that maybe Virginia as well. I could be wrong about that one. But I know Massachusetts, she's off. We're going to cover that tomorrow. But, look, I mean, obviously, there was never going to be any kind of primary. We knew that going in, that's what losing tasted like in 2020. And for those who wanted to vote for Biden, I didn't get involved in, who should vote how. But I just said, look, if you vote for Biden, you're not just voting for Biden once, you're voting for Biden twice because he's going to be the nominee in 2024. And so you're not going to get a chance to, reorient the Democratic Party in 4 years. This is it for the next 8 years, whether you like it or not, win or lose in 2024, obviously, which is why I just decided not to get involved in the Democratic Party anymore. That's why I was always very bearish on the Marianne campaign. And, now she's coming out saying, finally, they're rigging it against me. Well, yeah, I mean, what did you think was going to happen? She's got a lot of very young supporters who are probably too young to even remember the 2016 Bernie campaign. They were probably, 14, 15 at the time. But anybody who's old enough to remember those could tell very easily how this was going to end. Yeah,
she's got a lot of supporters who've spent the last 6 years trying to get a miracle out of a power crystal, and haven't popped up to check out politics.
I think it is very important that we all understand why this is happening. So we're going to play a very quick clip so you all get an idea of why things are so bad.
Unpledged delegates exist really to make sure that party leaders and elected officials don't have to be in a position where they are running against grassroots activists.
See, once that statement is made,
I kind of love it when they say the quiet part out loud. That's super delegates, so we don't have to run against grassroots.
I mean, I don't know how many more times you have to be shown that, listen, if you think that there are always going to be opportunities to pick off bad representatives who are just absolutely terrible. But if you think that you're going to change the infrastructure of the party itself, of one of the two major parties, especially the Democratic Party, it's not happening.
No, and
They're
I think
basically saying we are content to sink the whole ship. And that's what we're doing now. And so Bad Cookies, who is a big supporter of you guys, and thank you for bringing more followers into the to the viewership of the live stream.
Oh, why am I wearing my hat? You know what, though? Because this one reminds me, because we have the purple ones, and I don't know. I just think they're cute. I know. It's kind of a made-up thing anyway.
So somebody would say, like, why is it a big deal? Marianne's not going to win. We know that. But here's the issue. In the state of Florida, by canceling the primary, you're screwing over the local municipal candidates.
That's our biggest problem here.
These are people that are not running under a particular party banner, but they need people to get out to the polls to vote.
Yeah.
By saying we're not having a primary, you're basically saying, oh, let the GOP take everything. That's perfectly.
They have because we have a lot of down ballots here that would be decent and viable even in our Florida legislature. There were 20 potential seats that they could have, and they don't even bother. They put all their money behind like Val Demings and Charlie Crist, and they didn't save anything for real viable seats. And by them doing this, all of those, they're just making it worse and worse every down ballot.
Here's something you guys probably don't know that I'm sure you would love to comment on. So it turns out that even though Val Demings lost by 17 points instead of 20 points like Charlie Crist lost in her respective race, she outspent Marco Rubio by $25 million. I'd like to know where that money went. Just like we don't know where the money in Ukraine is going, and certainly not the money in Gaza is going. I would like to know, where did that extra $25 million go? I can assure you it didn't go to help down ballot candidates.
No.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about that. But I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Look, they have these candidates who they get very excited about, even though they have no chance at winning. They tried to do that with O'Rourke, too, in Texas, right? Oh, he's running for governor, right? And he raised a bunch of money actually off of that announcement because he's one of these guys who, the real hardcore lib base really likes. And so he can raise a bunch of money, even though he has absolutely no chance to win. So that doesn't really surprise me a whole lot.
Yeah, they like to throw their money behind useless people.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a social club, you know.
I mean, the Democratic Party went into court and they said it doesn't matter what happens. In effect, it doesn't matter what happens in a primary. We can pick the candidate in a back room. We're a private organization.
Yeah.
You keep getting involved with the Democratic Party after that. What can I tell you, man? That's you went to Caesar's Palace. They showed you the rigged dice. They showed you the dice are loaded. Yeah. And then the next week you're going to go, "Hey guys, you want to go to Caesar's?" No, I don't. I don't get involved in the Democratic Party. Neither one of us does.
Yeah.
And that ditto, right? Like
look what they did to you.
It's
an example.
Like,
yeah, perfect example.
It doesn't make any sense to continue to try and play nice with people who you know are gonna like kick dirt on you in the end. Like, why bother? Like, they don't have our best interest at heart. And like, it's not as so. I know. Here's the thing, right? Like, the moment you begin to question the two-party system, folks are like, "Well, you don't understand how this works." I understand perfectly well, right? Like, I'm still a registered Democrat because I know that I live in a municipality, in a county, in a state where like Democrats win. So like, yeah, I'm going to vote Democrat. And when I have the opportunity, I'm voting their third party. But do I believe that the two-party system is something that can be broken and rebuilt? I do not. Like, they got 300 years on us. Right? Like, we're building from the ground up. So it's not going to be an easy thing. It's a long game, right? We got to play the inside, outside, and everything in between. But it's like, it's not because we don't understand how it works. It's because we know perfectly well how it works. And it's working exactly how it's supposed to keep people like me, like Jen, like all of these other people who could really like bring change out of the process.
And that was the one thing when Nina ran for Congress that I think people at least understood what was going to happen, because ultimately the party was never going to accept her, just like even you've said, Russell, and you've been very bullish on this idea that even though the Democrats are doing what they're doing right now within their own party infrastructure, the two parties will come together when it's all said and done to make sure Trump doesn't get back in the White House. Because once people are hip to the game, these systems that are created, much like what happened with the Russian Revolution, this idea that the people who run the show, the people who own the Buffalo Bills, for example, that all of a sudden one day they're going to wake up and say, "Man, we really fucked up for a long time. I think it's time to change course." No, you literally are going to have to rip it from their cold, dead hands. There's no other way, because that's just history has shown it for thousands and thousands of years, that there is no inflection point that says all of a sudden they're going to change. They're not going to change. This is a class war, nothing more. And until and listen, we're not going to talk about Jimmy, but the one thing he does mention, which he is correct about, is that if you get distracted by anything other than what actually pisses off the people in power, you've lost the narrative. Like, it's over. You have to go right to the heart of what the problem is, which is if the people in power are telling you not to do something, do exactly what you're doing, because that is how you get it done, my opinion.
Well, I finally formally Dem exited because I had to renew my driver's license. My driver's license expired, and I was going to Dem exit after the 2020 primary, but I was just too lazy to go and do it. And so when I went to renew my driver's license, they asked, "Hey, do you want to update your voter registration?" I'm like, yes, I do, in fact. And so I re-registered independent.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.